from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Let's see. There we are. Done around the door. There we go. Let's see if you can hear me. Can you hear me now? Yes, I can. All right. What do we got going on here today? It is TGIM IVB. Oh, I worked on the DAX. I did work on the DAX this morning. I found a better. I went with. What did I go with? I'll show it to you. Let me see if I can open it up. Where did I put it? Is it on here or is it on? It must be on here. Let's see if it's on here. I redid the DAX, so let's see, and it was so much more efficient. Yeah, no, that's not it. That's not it. So it must be on here. Let's try here. There it is. And I'm going with gas line 3 with gas line 3.5 up top. And you can see it catches. And I went back and I looked about, I don't know how many months back. I went back a while. And, in other words, now when it breaks through here, it shows, the strength in the weeklies where you can only take the longs and vice versa. So what I did is I reduced the frequency solely because it moves, so much faster, and we're only seeing a third of the data, maybe or a quarter of the data in one shot. So anyway, TGIF, thank God it's Friday. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. PM, hello, how are you? Let's see. Hey, Doc, long time from last G-Day. Hope you're well from down under. Yes, indeed. Yeah, we're doing all right. Life is marching along just excellently. We have good weather. I follow, a lot of the Australian stuff that goes on because of my data mining that I do. And I saw where one of the Chinese ambassador or something called you guys Nazis. Are they out of their mind? How do they call you Nazis? Oh, my God. They're the ones that have the concentration camps. It's very confusing. But, yeah, hang in there, PM. Hey, ala kata. Or Ale. We'll just call you Ale. Allah. Allah. A-L-A-A. Allah? How's that sound? Hello to you, too. And it's nice you're saying the hi to everybody. Thanks for watching the DAX. No problem. I like that. Lie, chew gum on your shoe. Well, cracky. I agree. Oh, my God. There. Allah. Am I saying it right? Allah? Or Allah? Is it the two syllables or one? Excellent. I'm glad things are good. He's described us. I know. I mean, they're out of their minds, aren't they? I mean, the Chinese are really, if it all worked right, we'd have a Soviet Union. The Soviet Union is gone, So obviously, that form of economics and government is not exactly the most efficient. Let's put it this way: we would not have Venezuela the way Venezuela is, one of the largest oil producers in the world, and people are starving and they're eating, eating their pets and things like that. I mean, so it's all crazy. One syllable, Allah. One syllable. Okay, so Allah. I like that. That sounds kind of nice. I like the way my tongue rolls with that. Kind of neat. Wagner, how you doing? Ah, is that what it is? Now, I have a niece and nephew from Brazil. They were born in Brazil. A niece and nephew. They were adopted. And, but unfortunately, they don't speak Brazilian. So, what an interesting country. I know we have a webinar person here, Forex. He's from Brazil. We talk once in a while. Really good with Fibonacci and he's good with Trading 101 and so forth. You should tune him in. He works, I guess, about 6, 7, 8 months at it. I don't know, somehow or another. I think he stops for a few months, but he's always involved. I'm a LinkedIn friend of his, and we talk once in a while on the here and so forth. So yeah, but it's nice to see a lot of people visiting today. Very nice. So what should we do? Should we look at? Like I said, there's it with the DAX. So now you can see we changed the frequency, so it's just a gas line 3 on a weekly, which is very, rare. But when I thought about the accelerated pace of it and the speed of it, it made more sense. And sure enough, it makes you catch this whole sell-off here, which is really cool. So, is that even right? 18. Yeah, that's right. 21. So it makes you catch that move even. So, and Ferris, good to see you this morning. Top of the morning to you now, lad. So, seems like everybody's here. Let's check it out. We go to the Swiss to kind of try to understand how the pairs trades are moving overall. Notice the Swiss really shows us the dollar action. But if anybody wants to see anything, we can stop and we can go to it. And I don't care how many times we go to it, we can go to it. Because we like to explore new ideas. Kind of sound like Captain James T. Kirk there. Explore new worlds. Boldly go where no other trader has gone before. That's what it sounds like sometimes in my head. So anyway, let's go over to the, where is it? Right there. Oh, not, okay. It's going to go like that. And there is the Swiss. And you can see the Swiss is down. Let's see. Hello, everyone. A dozen times. I think that's so nice. It is. It's nice to be, it's nice to be nice. I remember someone saying that once. It's nice to be nice. It is. It is. But we are frail humans. We are what we are. But it is nice to be nice. I agree. So let's see. Where's Mr. and Mrs. Mouse? Let's get a hold of one of these mice here. These Mises two pieces. Okay, and then there. You can see right here how the Swiss is breaking down like that. And then you go over to J4X and you can see we are taking out some lower lows. I'm not sure what that's all about, but you can see we are heading towards this action here of breaking the 90. And it does seem like the dollar is trying to be weak, and I imagine. Mohammed, how you doing? Good morning to you. Welcome to the hood. Hey, yeah. Doc went to high school in the hood, so he gets that way once in a while. But yes, welcome to our neighborhood. And so you can see here with the way the Swiss is going is normally basically the way the dollar is going. And it's going down at the moment. Down. And obviously some of the pairs trades, it's going up against it. So we can take a look at, say, like the Swiss, the Euro, I'm sorry. Where's the Euro? Oh, let's just do this real quick, too. You can see here looks like we're going to close in a weekly sell here in the Swiss itself. And we've been in a daily sell for these bunch of days. So it does show that the dollar is weakening. So we are starting to see that weakness, and we kind of figure that, we're looking for a weaker dollar. We think that a lot of times what we see is when the stock market is really getting ready to take off, we usually see a dollar that gets weaker. That's because the buyers come in and they buy the stocks, but they don't do it in dollars per se. They're short dollars. And so now they've got to buy dollars, but they're not going to do it as the stock market's going up. So they'll do it on the correction. Usually when the stock market starts to head back down again, then the dollar gets stronger, that type of thing. It seems to have that natural tendency to it. I guess there's a bunch of economic concepts there and a bunch of Federal Reserve, central bank concepts there. I myself don't really pay attention to them too much since we are a quantitative type trader. So we're just using it as an example of how the dollar is flowing against other pairs trades. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll take a look at the euro unless someone wants to see something else. And there is the euro in the J4X. You can see it's holding firm. And we'll put it up on the Chicago Quant right there. And you can see there it's holding firm also, trying to climb back up again. You can see it did play with the time manifold a little bit here on the daily, but you can see the weekly is fighting to get into the weekly. So that strength is there. It's trying to lift. And again, a lot of the pairs are going to be moving in a upwardly direction away from the dollar, and the dollar is going to be dropping. I could give you fundamental ideas why, but I try not to get too crazy because it's bad enough I'm already crazy. So we don't need to compound the doc's craziness. I always have ideas of what I think the fundamentals are trying to say to us, and then we go from that to looking at the quants, and the quants are so much more ahead of the fundamentals that we're usually right that way. Here you can see cable, same situation. After that nice big spike, it's still holding firm. Look how far away it is from the time manifold, but it is lower than where it finished off. And you can see here we've been in a weekly buy for a full week. This is going to be the second week with the close here. And so it's been basically saying in this area here that it wanted to go up in value, and then it finally confirmed it here, and the buy was there at the beginning of this bar because we had the volatility situation. That's part of our rule structure. And we, if you want to see the rules, we can show you where the rules are, or we can explain you the rules. Again, I have no problem doing that. It's very important for traders to understand what they're doing. Let's see what else we got going here. Cable Canada, after you go over the usual. Oh, no, let's go right to it, baby. I like to go where no other trader has gone before. Let's see. Canada, Cable Canada. Let's check it out. Now I just have to figure out which mouse it is. Cable Canada, right there. And let's see where you are, Cable Canada. This way, I like to motivate people to ask questions, and the best way to do it is you ask it, and I'm going right to it. Did we change that? I guess we did. So we have, what do we have? We have Cable New Zealand. I bet that's what we had it in. And then we have Cable Mexico and Cable Yen. And so what we'll do is we'll go to the Cable New Zealand and slip that back in since they're both Commonwealths. And then we could always fix the lines. Format instrument. Boldly go where no other trader has gone before. I like that. What a good Friday crazy idea of mine. I like that. I could hear James T. Kirk. James Tiberius Kirk. It's what happens when you're dealing with a 65-year-old Trekkie. Right there. There's Cable. Now let's take a peek at it and see what it looks like. We're going to throw it up on J4X too. Which mouse is that? That's that one there, right there. Yeah, there. And let's stick it up on J4X too at the same time, right there. And what do we see here? So I guess it's like the inverse, right? So that, no, that was a buy. Okay, that's legit. That's the buy. And then there's we haven't filled it in a while. So in this case here, there's the buy off the opening of this bar right here. So that low. And then we can move the sell over. Sell is there. Just move it over one. They're gonna. It's interesting to see how they, kind of match up. You can see the sell, weekly sell was just a little bit earlier on it there, and you can see the weekly buy was weeks ahead of it actually. Look at that. Back in here, it went into the weekly buy right there, and now we went into the weekly buy last week. So just like Cable Dollar, it did the same thing. And let's put that in there. See, that's why I like doing this. Because, here we just adjust them in front of you live. Live, not Memorex. Like the old TV commercial. And then we can, let's see. So it went into the sell there. And then it went back into the buy there. And then it went back into the sell there. So let's put the sell in there. And let's widen that too. Like so. Make it the right color also. There we are, red. And then what did it do? It did again, it went into the buy on that. But you're in a sell, so you can't take the buy, of course. And then no, that's not it. It's back further, right there. Yeah, you're in the sell, so you can't take that buy, you can only take the short. And then it does it again, is it? Let's see, what is that? That's a plus 0.00036. Okay. All right. So that went back into the buy again after a sell here. Yeah. Remember how we did that with a lot of the products back then a couple weeks ago where we were going in and out, in and out? And then, and what the math always does is it makes it back, which is always nice. And so it goes into the sell there again. Like so. And now it can't go into the buy here because we're red and green. It's a volatility thing. And then nothing there because this is below the line. And then right there it goes back into the buy on the big spike like it did on the cable. We'll take a look at that. Like so. There we are. And so there we go. There is GBP CAD after you go over the... see. Now Wagner says, question regarding this dollar movement. Can estimate a time frame for this cycle. Now when you say a time frame... Remember, Doc follows time in his own proprietary way, and I've been doing that for over 40 some odd years. So when you, I understand I understand cycles. Cycles are cycles, so there's no problem there. But when you say, can you estimate a time frame for this cycle? A time frame, in what cycle? Are we talking like a day and week? Or are we talking about a bigger cycle, or the cycle of the election, or the 2 year cycle? Just clarify a little bit so I can try to interpret or give you my opinion on what you're asking. I'm just not sure which cycle you're talking about. I want to see GBP cable again, right? And you can go to that. Well, Wagner is going to inform us on what cycle we should take a look at. Then I can give you an opinion on what the math is telling us. So that's what I really do, is I'm taking a look at what you're asking for, and then I go and put the math to it, and then we get a better idea to give you the answer. So, I've seen, like, there's the different cycles. There we go. There it is again. There's the cable. You can see that, the same situation as what we just looked at here. Where is that? GBP CAD, right there. Doing the same exact thing in the pattern. And it also went into the weekly buy last week, going to be in a second week of the buy right there. So we'll wait for Wagner to give us that cycle question, because I do love cycles. I have a friend that was head of the Market Technicians Association. He was a maniac on cycles. I mean, he was really good about cycles. He showed me a lot of his techniques over the years. We talked about it. We were on trading floors together and so forth. So we had lots of discussions on that. And matter of fact, he was one of the first people to on Wall Street to on the retail side, not the government side, of course, and that's a whole different story right there. To bring computerization in the 50s to Wall Street using computers, so in the 1950s. I think he was using the computer from the University of Pennsylvania. Obviously, at that time, he did not know that there was one out at Stony Brook that the physicists were using since the Manhattan Project. That's the other story I was going to talk about. I've talked about that here. And Dr. First and a bunch of others were aiming when Oppenheimer and everybody and Feinstein and all like that, Feynman and all like that were sending data back to be crunched on the secret computer that was identical to the University of Pennsylvania one out at Stony Brook. What they would do is the stock market opened at 10 in the morning. Well, it was 7 in the morning in Los Alamos, and so what they would do is they would be crunching stuff, 3 hours ahead of time, and then Oppenheimer would send stuff to Stony Brook to be crunched, computer wise, and so then they would have to stop playing with the stock market with the Manhattan Project computer and go that way. So, I mean the period dollar down, dollar up. Period. You mean my period? Define period. I need to just find a reference number. I just need a number. In other words, are we talking about a monthly or weekly or hourly or quarterly or yearly or that type of thing? That's all I'm looking for. You're busy. Hi, Doc. What trading platform you are using with your indicators? That is what is it? That's multi-charts, and also I do it with TradeStation, the 2000i TradeStation. I was a beta tester for the cruises, and so I've had TradeStation forever, since the early 90s, late 80s, something like that. I want to say 91, 92, something like that, right around there. And then I jumped over to using both multi-charts and that. They're good tools. And then what I can do is I can put my proprietary algorithms and my quantitative systems into easy language. The period uses to last 2 months, 1 month. Okay. All right. So let's go take a look and see, what product was that again? $1. Okay. So how about if we look through the dollar? We can look at the dollar a couple ways. We can look through it through a dollar index, and we'll look at it like what my favorite is right now, and that has been watching it through the eyes of the Swiss franc. So there's the Swiss franc, and there's no doubt that over the last August, September, and now 3/4 through October, it's been more of a flat type of action. It did break out a little bit there from some news, but overall it's been in a flat action. The M sine waves, Charles Kirkpatrick, who was head of the Markets Technicians Association of the United States for, I don't know, off and on for 30 years or something like that. Charlie used to say to me the sine wave, and what he would do is he'd turn a sine wave sideways, making it look like an M or a W. Okay, and so you can see that the sine wave, let's put a pencil to this when we're looking at the, like this. You can see it happening here, there, and then you can see it, there, and then you can see here again, the sine wave, and then the last part, he would say it would be here. Oh, not that. Then the last part, Charlie would say, is here. And so that was the cycle work. Whereas on the floor, we used to call it the psycho work. Floor joke. Anyway, so there's your first sine wave. So in other words, instead of the sine wave like that, the sigma, I guess the S, okay? And so Charlie would talk about that way. But he would turn it into an M, so it would be like a third part. And so what he would do is and it was the cycle work that he used to do, like that. And so it was like the sigma, and he used to turn it flat. And then and you can see the same thing here, up, down, completion again, and now you have up, down, I guess you could say, a very small one, up, down, finishing there, and then up, down, or down, up, down, and we're working on the upper as it completed there, and we're starting a whole new cycle again. Now, I guess if you crunch it up even more, you try to find, you can find this possibly as a one big cycle here, making new lows, lower highs here, and then finishing off the sine wave to here. Could be something of that nature, like an ABC. In this case here, you'd probably done something like that, and then start another one like that, and that somewhere is in here, starting a whole bunch of them. And so I would have to say is the cycle is coming to an end, and is now starting a new cycle on a day to week. And when it comes to the monthly, let's just take a look at it on J4X. And you can go back further to J4X to 2006, especially when we're looking at it on a month-to-month basis here. It could be like this is part of the big cycle down, the big cycle up, and then working on it down again, and then this is the next up, which would be a failure of that high, or even this high or those highs, and then make its last dive there, which would basically say, see a strong pairs trade and a weak dollar. I think that would be the answer to that, Wagner. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, wait a minute. Wagner. Sorry. On the 1 hour or 1 day chart. Oh, okay. All right. So, I would say that what we're probably seeing on a very short-term basis, you can see it through our work right here, that the pressure is on the downside, and that maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3. I don't know. There's nothing there. 3. I remember a lot of people started to use my, back in the old days, back 20 and 30 years ago, would start to use my dots as confirmation that a slice of the cycle, a tranche of the cycle had ended. So maybe the volatility thing there. So this was the 1. This was the 2 here. That was a very short-lived 3 with a higher high, and then the 4, and now we're starting another cycle of 1, 2. That's another one that's short-lived, and 3 heading down again. I kind of think what we're seeing is the dollar weaker and weaker against all the pairs trades. It seems like it's going to be consistent like that. I hope that helps a little bit there on a shorter-term basis. And we can take a look at which product would you like to look through the cycle. In other words, would you like to look through the Swiss or the cable, or what particular pairs trade, or the index itself. Let's see, where is that? Which mouse is that? That's that mouse, right? Yeah, there we go. And so we could look at it through the index itself, right there. And so now it's also moving down. And notice we have been in a weekly buy from here. And I think we should probably look at a 3. I might even consider going to the 3 on that, just the way we're looking at the DAX. Solely because in many ways, looking at the ETF of the dollar index, it does lose data that's not really being collected, and it's kind of like a gapish situation. So I think I'm going to probably try that next. We'll probably move over into like what we're using on the DAX, the gas line 3 down there on the weekly. Let's do that. Let's see what it looks like. Okay. And let's turn off the super. So that kind of shows us that it's already breaking down. And I think that's what we're going to do is we're going to stay with that. And I'm going to remove the super 5 like that. And you can see here the dollar is already trying to break down in our work, especially here. It did it last week. It's actually in a weekly sell from that action at the more accelerated cycle, so or rate of frequency. We look at things through like trying to measure a photon, and know that it's a massless object, but if you stop the photon if you measure it as a fixed point in space, then you can actually measure its frequency and then give it a mass and the wavelength itself. So when you go with a fixed point in space, so that's the way we look at this stuff. I see. Oh, sorry. So now what we could do is we could go and take a look at that. We do have some people who were looking at 1 hourlies, and we were looking at some 1 hourly stuff and 4 hourly stuff. Where was it? It was on this one right here. There's a 3-minute one. I think we were playing with that. So we can go like that and make that bigger. And then we can make that an hourly. And we can put the UUP in there. Or, let's see, what do we do? Yeah, let's put UUP in there. Make that an hourly. Settings. Boldly go. Oh yeah, we need to go back, way back, obviously. And I think we'll get rid of the day breaks altogether. Like that. Let's see, is it filled in? Yeah, it's filling in still. So we can take a look at it that way, or we could probably go and look at some pairs trade that you might be more interested in. So your BZ says thanks. So you can put it into JForex or MT. I don't know about what my algorithm. No, I don't disseminate it. We do have an operation where we rent it out, where you can use it live, but not it's only up on a cloud through our server. No problem, Wagner. And if you do come up with a pairs trade that you'd like to see on an hourly basis, we can take a look at that and probably have a much better concept. Yeah. Now on our Forex, what we're doing is we combined a couple of what are I consider leading indicators. The market treats them as lagging indicators, and we'll go to a daily on that. And so what we're looking at here, that was monthly. What we're looking at, the white line is a fast-moving stochastic D, 5-3. The little dotted goldish line is a slow-moving stochastic D. And what we're doing is we're treating it just like a relative, relative to each other in space, how they treat each other. So you notice that when it breaks to the upside here through it, there's strength. And we're also using Hinky Ashi to try to emulate our, let's see, where is it at? And that is, let's see, let's go to here. And then what we're doing is we're emulating the way, let's see, let's go, and we'll put up the same product, the GBP CAD here. And so what we're doing is we're emulating our dots with it. And it has a 70% correlation, the Hinky Ashi, to my dots. And you can see when it breaks down, it lags, but it's still better than having nothing. And then we've been playing with the CCI, which we find a really good tool at the same time, giving us another relative characteristic. You can see when the white line is cleanly here, gets through. There's strength in the product itself. In this case, cable CAD, and or British pound, Canadian dollar. And then you can see, the CCI takes off, joins in with it. There's lots of strength, and then you can see they both break down together. And then when they both pierce the slower D, you can see the weakness starts to occur. Now, obviously, this puts you underneath, and it bounces back up again. But again, it's about a 68 to 72% correlation to our math. So we use that on J4X to give people a chance to have a good tool, with the J4X. And so we use the J4X a lot to take a look back historically. It's a good data bank of data. And so we use that, and we put these two together. We've had webinars where we work to try to emulate my math. Now, I use stochastics to smooth out my formula, so they do have a correlating characteristic to them. And that's why there's a lot of correlation to it, because I'm using stochastics to smooth my math out. And you can see it here. And we have the time manifolds here. And so what you have is these are what I have this labeled. Let me show you what this is. This is what we refer to as a nonlinear time manifold. And it's in four-dimensional space. And so let's just, where is it at? I know, I can open something else up and show you that. Let's see, where is it at? That's that, that's that. Okay, let's go here. And we're going to open this up, and this will just give you the labels and an understanding of it. We're going to look at the volatility index of the S&P 500. And we have this all labeled out. So here's the weekly, the time manifolds are mirror images. And then when you notice the white line pierces through it, the product has a constant characteristic to lift up in value. See, it does the same thing. It starts to get through it, and that was the warning that it's going north. And then obviously, it's through the zero line here. Let's put the zero line in. That's how we measure everything, through the zero line right there. And when the histogram and the white line are piercing through it, it's telling us that there's real strength coming, like what it started to do it here. And then you get these explosions up. When you get these mixed days of a red and green dot on one bar, it tells us that there are hot corners to the action in the marketplace. And you can see when they do occur, they generate some, usually some direction. In this case here, it's a little crunched down, but we can widen that a little bit more, like so. Let's see if we can do this. And that's moving those. Let's go like this. You see it's going from like 27 to 20. So I mean, or in this case here, it goes from, what's that, 22.28 up to 23.55. You're looking at minute action in there, but in the same time, it can catch some major stuff. And so that's what we're looking at when we go back to where was it at? Right there. You're looking at the white line piercing the negative side of the time manifold and starting to lift up. You can see our histogram lifting, and you know that strength is coming. You get a volatility warning with the green and the red, and they all combine together. So when we go to J4X screen, and so then we go to the J4X screen, where we're using the stochastic momentum that we use in our work, and it follows it with like almost a 70% correlation, which is better than nothing as far as I'm concerned. Imagine you're trading all day long. you get a chance to tune in to see Doc's work for an hour and talk to Doc and about different products and ask to look at different products, and then the rest of the day you don't have Doc's work. So I mean that's a higher level of sophistication of things going on. Like I said, we have a rental service. You can rent our work to have it live throughout the day, but not many people are that intense. And you can where our webinar is really geared more towards days and weeks, trying to get you in the right pattern. We're option traders more than we are hard delta. To me, as far as I'm concerned, hard delta is for like intraday trading. Like, let's minimize that. And then, oh, you know what? That was it. It filled in. Let's take a look at the UUP. So that's a 3 hour. How did we end up with a 3 hour? Let's go back to an hourly. I thought we'd, oh, I see how. Okay, so go like that. There we are. And let's go with, let's just say okay. Let's see how it looks. Okay, so you can see here it starts to pierce here, and there's not much upwardly moment, and then you can see it breaks down again, and then pierces here, and you get your upward momentum, and then you see it breaking down here, right in here, and then you get your gap down, and you see your strength here, and you can see the strength is all there already, and then you can see it climbs up. The price follows our math. Our math is picking up the momentum and the direction of the product before it happens. So it's ahead of the curve. So like here, you see here it's breaking down. There's weakness, 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 and then smack-a-doodle city. So, and then when you go back to J4X, I'm sure you can take this and turn it into an hourly thing just as easily. Go to J4X and put, what is that? That's the UUP. And let's see if we can do this. Let's go look for, don't they have the dollar index on this? Like the ICE dollar index? Let's see if we can find it. There we are. And then you could go and set it into an hourly right there. You can see the momentum shift here. You can see the Hinky Ashley does this. Excuse me. Hinky Ashley does the same thing. It's a laggard, but it's better than nothing. And then you can see it break down here again. And then you can see the strength of it here. So we're not really looking at the highs here or the lows per se. All we're looking at is like good old Al Einstein used to talk about, relative one from the other of moving objects. I hope that helps out there. Cool or what? So cool. It's too cool for school. All right. Now, where are we, traders? What should we look at next? Does anybody have an idea? Something we could stare at? I'm like I said, I like to go boldly where no other trader has gone before. Let's see. I think that could be the title today. Boldly go where no trader has gone before. I like that. It's Friday. The cocktails are flowing somewhere. All right. So now let's jump back to there. And we were looking at the CAD, the British pound and the Canadian. And let's take a look at Turkish Lira while someone's checking out what we should tune into. You can see here we went into the daily buy there yesterday, and we're seeing more firmness there. And did they make new all-time highs? Let's see. 7.98, and what was the last all-time high right there? Maybe 7.95. There's 7.9594. That's the all-time high there. So yesterday we made another all-time high in the Turkish Lira against the dollar. And today, they didn't take out the high. They did not. And it's 98. So, but it is definitely trading higher at the moment. And you can see we've been in, like, next week, when you go over to the, where are we at here? When you go over, it's mouse here, there it is. Line 17, we're looking at 46 weeks. Our math has been in a weekly buy. I mean, look at the Zolte, 7 weeks. Look at the cable, 1 week, right? This is the second week now. This was 5 weeks in the sell, the euro, and it looks like it's gonna close in the weekly buy, and next week you'll have a 1 in that what the fact check spreadsheet is all about. It shows you our history of our math. There's 16 weeks for the ruble. Let's see what the ruble's doing. I like following the ruble. You can see here, we went into the weekly buy back in here, and it's just having an issue about trying to get into a sell. And notice at the same time, it seems to find a way in its cycles to be higher than where you can all agree that this is definitely not higher than here. This is definitely higher than here. And so that's the weekly signal. All right, cool, huh? Remember, traders, there are no bad questions. There are only short and long answers. That's all there is. So ask anything you like. Don't be scared. Please ask questions. I like questions. We like to boldly go where no other trader has gone before. Oh, I'm hooked on that. I think I might play around with that. That could end up on our Chicago Quant website. That is going to end up on our, we call our work the Swiss Army knife of investing. But we also I like that idea. Boldly go where no other trader has gone before. I like that a lot. Oh my God, that's so funny. I cracked myself up. All right, what else we got to talk about here, traders? Let's see. We'll go through the rhythm here. And then if anybody has an idea, let's jump in and do it. But if not, I'll just keep on going through the rhythm, which is boring. All right. Anyway, there it is. There's Canadian. You can see Canadian is trying to lift here. You see that right there. And you can see the purple line is trying to turn up also. So there's some energy coming into that. We try to relate to the purple on our algorithm. Let's put the Canadian up there. We try to treat the purple like a three-dimensional histogram of ours. How our Instagram is. We're showing us strength. And we try to treat the purple line, the CCI, as the strength. So like in a case like here, you see where the purple, in this case, let's see, what is it? You see the white line breaks down, purple's kind of following it, and then it joins in even more. And but obviously the real key is the purple, the white line breaking the dashed line or dotted line, the gold dotted line, and then we try to treat the CCI as like the histogram in our math, right there. So. Let's see, where are we at? Oh yeah, so we're looking at Canadian, and you can see the Canadian is trying. Let's refresh that. The Canadian is trying to, get into a buy. I guess it was trying, but it looks like it's failed. Let's see, we can widen this a little bit so you can have a better view, and widen it. Nope, wrong product. Let's go like that, and then we'll take a look at the numbers there. And the numbers are minus. See that? That is minus 0.00002. Remember, Doc invented this mathematics to measure particles and prove that the Higgs boson is what they proved with $18 billion. We proved back in '77 that it is not anything more special or less special, but it is a good tool in string theory to pretend that treat it like it is a ether. In some ways, so it's 0 point. So they try to do that. Okay, here we go. First says, cool. First Wagner says, let's see, let's double. Oh, wait a minute, there's more. I've missed a bunch of words here. Wait a minute, Doc. Just a newbie questions. There are no newbie questions in trading. They're all just real questions. Don't worry about it. All questions are allowed. Don't define it because we don't want everybody to get scared on something. So just a question, not a newbie question. Some time ago, I was doing some demo tests with Volex. Is that like a volatility index? And when night came, it came from a $1 loss to a $26 loss. Huh. Yeah, I see the same thing. That's that Blackpool thing I'm always complaining about. It's the data. I have the same problem. My work picks up very sensitive movement, and they load in more open interest and prices, and they try to recalculate it all when it occurred, but they don't disseminate it during the trading day. So what they try to do is at, say, 10 in the morning, something traded, but they didn't disseminate it. It was a black pool. And then they put it in there at, let's say, 7 or 8 o'clock at night. And then it changes the chart because now they're putting it in there at 10 in the morning when it wasn't in there before, and it changes. So, yes. That is correct. That is dead correct, Wagner. And that's that Blackpool thing. No, it's not the rollover. It's the Blackpool thing. And you are right to identify that. I complained for the last 20 some odd years The CFTC hated me complaining about that. They fought with me about that one. They pretended other things in the end result. But yes, they're getting away with that stuff for a long time now. Let's see. BZ says, could please tell what slow and fast period in such stochastic forex do you use? Yes, let's highlight that again for you. Let me find Mr. and Mrs. Mouse, and let's go to J4X, and there it is right there. And we'll highlight the white line first, and then see if we can put the box up there even. And there it is right there. Let's see if we can do that. Edit indicator? Yeah, there we go. And so you can see that there. This is going to be on the recording, so you can go back and look at the recording for this too. And that is the fast stochastic, and it's the fast D we're looking at. And then we can go to the slow, which is this one here, and edit that. And you can see there's the data there. And we're just using the one, again, the D. Let's see what that line does there. And you could take a look at those things. And so they're the two stochastics against each other. And you can put that, any one of you can put it on any system you guys are using, right? You know, because it's public data, you know, it's public indicators. Now let's go a little bit further in these conversations. Can you elaborate a little such as how, see, Wagner says, can you elaborate a little on such a high rollover price? Again, I think I explained it. It's the black pool and the see, in other words, the rule is if you're a public traded product on a listed exchange, in other words, you're a stock, you know, Apple, or, Siemens, whatever. It doesn't really matter which one, British Aerospace. When you trade, it's a public company. No, it's a listed company, and there's public stock. You're supposed to disseminate the execution of your trades instantly. But what's happened since 2008 and even before, going into the turn of the century, is there were black pools starting to establish themselves. Okay? And what they were doing is they were making massive transactions and not reporting the trades until the end of the day. And the Commodities Futures Trading Commission and the CFTC, the Securities Exchange Commission here in the States, were allowing that to go on, even with it being illegal, because supposedly it was adding liquidity to the markets, because funds didn't want to be chased after, I guess. I don't know. In other words, I do know. They wanted to hide their trades so that other people, they could execute orders without influence of the marketplace, which is all wrong. It's against the law. So then what happened was after 2008, they really turned it up. And so if you didn't disseminate your data at the end of the day, you were supposed to do it within a 3-day period, or you could be enforced on. But they didn't enforce it on anybody. So now you're taking trades that occurred on Monday and finally putting them into the system on Wednesday, and they were put in at the proper time of when it occurred, at 10 o'clock in the morning, 11, 12, 1, whatever. And so now when you go back on your charts and you go back and look at your data, it doesn't match up anymore because that data wasn't there before. And so they've allowed them to do this on futures. They've allowed them to do it on stocks, and so it's a bad thing. And so that's why the rollover looks like it's something mechanical. It is. It's something illegal mechanical that the governing agencies allow to hide live transactions under some idea that it would interfere in the market. Guess what? All transactions should be disseminated live and let the market decide, not some egghead inside government. Okay, so now Ferris says, let's see, can you elaborate? So I think I've answered Wagner's questions, or at least you know my opinion. That's there. And Ferris says, the zone is where no other trader has gone before. It's just a myth. Laugh out loud. Okay, I like that. Boldly go where no other trader has gone before. The zone. Okay. Well, I'm kind of thinking in a interstellar universe. So that's where my head is at, in an interstellar way. I'm part of the electric universe and proud of it. And so let's close that. So that's that. Let's close that. We don't need that. Close. All right, now where are we? We were looking at Turkish Lira, right? No, there's dollar CAD because we were looking at dollar CAD here on J4X. Yeah. Okay. So you can see here it's tried to get into the buy. You can see the weekly, is breaking down here. It almost broke down last week there. The histogram was what was it, minus? This is let's just double check what this is. This is gas line 3.5 super. So are we looking at the 5? I think we're looking at the 4. So the plot, we're looking at plots 1 and 4. For the black is 1 and the white is 4. So cancel. And so it tried almost to break down and failed, and then now, and I guess that's from that strength, and now obviously we went to the sell here from that slide. It's been no good of a trade. I mean, obviously, it made money the next day, instant gratification, and it's making money today from it, but it's been a choppy trade. And then you can see here we're going into the weekly sell now. So that's line, what is that? That's line 20 on the, let's get a hold of that mouse there. 20 on the fact check sheet. So we're going to drop that 4 tonight, and there'll be a 1 in this box right there like that, and the 4 will disappear. So let's see, what else do we got going on here? That's Canadian. And let's see what else. We got like 6 minutes, so we got plenty of time to look at some other products. So let's go take a look at, say, something like let's take a look at gold. We usually do that. We jump from Canadian to gold, or no, oil. We jump to oil from Canadian, because we always think that oil influences the Canadian dollar a lot more than other things. So there's crude oil. And you can see it's a battle, and we're trying to get into the weekly sell on the crude. And you can see right now it's pressing down again. We've been in a daily buy for since here, and it's been a sloppy win, but it's been a win, but I don't like it. I mean, I like the bigger trends myself. But you know what? You got to trade each one of them the way they come and go, And so that's why we're big on the option concept. We've been trading options since decades. Decades upon decades. And so you can see here, this is breaking down. This is breaking down. We'll see how this lasts by the end of the day. It's still early. This is a daily chart here. This is the weekly. We know that there's a good chance this thing will slide into a weekly sell like it did here. Maybe we'll get a little bit more weakness. I don't know. We'll see. It gave us that there. We were already in the sell for days, like a week and a half, and then it gave us the confirm. And then they gapped it down the next day altogether, or going into Monday, they crush-a-doodled it. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. What else is there? Let's go over and look at gold. Like Austin Powers, gold. And there is gold. And you can see gold is battling and trying to get into the weekly buy. It was above it for a little while this week, and then it failed. Now it's trying to do it again. You can see here the daily is trying to hold up. It's a sloppy action of about a $20, $30 range. And let's just go refresh it. And there it is there. You can see it's lifting up. And you can see the battle that's going on there. So that is what it is. What it is what it is. And that is gold. And then let's take a look at Silverado. Let's see how silver's doing. Right there. It's playing with the sell. It's trying, but it's lifting up here too. If this was only there, we'd be like green line. And you can see we've been in a weekly sell since back in here. So we're running a Super 5 on that one. Gas line 5 Super. See what a gas line 3 is just pure 3 averages and extrapolations in a 3 average or structure. And then gas line 5, the way gas line 5 works is that it's a 5 for the 5 plots, okay, and then the 6 plot is a 7, so it's a statistical average of a 7 of our mathematics, and that's how that works there. Ooh, what do we got here? We got some stuff. I am the gold battle myself today. Yeah, I can imagine. It's a ever since PayPal came out with that stuff on Tuesday, there's been an issue. I mean, PayPal. I saw Wilco said something to me in LinkedIn. Damn, I meant to. I was too tired to look at it. I mean, I looked at it and I wanted to give a thumbs up, but I want to talk to Wilco about that too. The PayPal is opening the doorway for people who trade the metals to start thinking a little bit more about the cryptos. And we're a big fan of the cryptos around here too. So shorting for intraday trade. Let's take a look at that. Any particular time reference? We can put it up on the screen here for you if you're doing like an hourly or a 4 hourly or whatever. 3 minute. Name it. We'll change to it. I'll wait for you to figure that out. And where was I headed? Oh yeah, we can go like that. There we go. And we can go over to here. Yeah, there's the 4 hour right there. We have that already up on there. And you can see where it breaks down here and gives us the sell signal, and then you can see it follows through over the next, what's that, 4, 8, 12, 16 hours. It reads it very well, and then we start to try to turn up. You can see the white line starting to pierce the time manifold. You can see here we get this with a volatility thing, and it goes from 1911.6 close to a high of 1917.3. So that was pretty cool. 1 hour. Let's go check out the 1 hour. Let's put it on here. We have a 1 hour already set up, so that'll be cool. Right? Z 2000. There you are. 20. There we go. Here's the 1 hour. It'll come in fast. Let me just check the amount of time. We're going. Let's just go like 50 days back. There we go. Let's widen it out for you. You can see the little buy signal there, and you got that nice little pop out of it of about $3 or $4. You see the breakdown was nice. What is that? That's right there, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the close of this gave you that nice big sell-off. There's a lot of instant gratification from the 20-ish area, no, 17 area, down to the 95-ish area. That was cool. This one here is okay. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's 5. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gives you the buy signal there, and you get that nice little move over 5 hours. A little sloppiness in here. It gives you, push you underneath there. What's that? 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's not that good. I mean, because that doesn't even make a new low. Well, on the close you can take some money out of it, but not much of a good move there. And then it jumps into the buy there, and it's still in a buy because it drops down, but it's a green dot, so you can't take the short. So you can get out of your long, but and then obviously it's turning up again, and then that's been a real good one there with the volatility, the red and the green. And that's been a nice little move for, what's that, like $5, $6, $7, something like that, $8. And now we're breaking down again. So your short, there you go. Looks like your short is doing okay. It's just generating a new one there for you. So that's pretty cool. That is not bad at all. So at least it's showing some life on the downside for you. We'll see how that goes. What else can we say about that? I guess that's about it. We're down at the end of the webinar. I'm going to hesitate a little bit longer, but I guess it doesn't really help you because it's 9:29 here in the States, so we got 31 more minutes. So unfortunately, that is what it is. But we'll leave it up there a few more seconds just for the, just to help you out, to analyze it. What you could do is you could probably do, let's go to J4X real quick. Don't want to leave you hanging. Let's go to gold and the spot. And let's go to an hourly. There's the hourly there. You can see the white line is breaking down here, and Hinky Ashki is turning reddish also. So you might want to try using the J4X to follow it a little bit there. Remember, it is somewhat of a lagging indicator, the hinky ASCII, so don't get excited about the reds and the greens as much as pay attention to the white and the gold two lines there. Okay? And try to put that on your machine first, you know? All right, traders, this is Doc from North America. Everybody have a safe and a smart weekend, and we will catch you all on the flip side Monday. So, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends, and yippee-yi.